La, la, la. Okay. Hello. Hello. This is Sandra, and I'm back from vacation, and I'm full of energy, and I'm really, really excited to tell you more about the HippoLogic Clicker Training Academy. Now you're still in the HippoLogic Accountability Partner and Support Program, which is all about accountability and supporting you. But I would love to extend and expand and morph into a Clicker Training Academy. And the advantage of having an academy and a new platform will be that I will have a forum in which you have topics, and underneath each topic we can have a discussion about that topic, and it will be way easier to find answers back, because in the Facebook group I find it really hard to find previous topics, or we talked about some things and there was advice, but you cannot find it back because sometimes it's hidden in the thread of that topic. And also for new members, it's really hard to find back all the information that we have accumulated since 2017, since we started. So today I would like to give you a visual, a Venn diagram of the HippoLogic Clicker Academy. So what I found very important is learning. Learning is about, that's what I love about life, learning. I like to expand my learning, I like to expand my knowledge, and then I like to share my knowledge. So in learning, three parts are very important. We would like to know, I studied human behavior, because the human behavior, how can I learn? That's how I started. What do I need to become a good learner? When I was a horseback riding instructor, I did the instructor course certification from the Royal Dutch Sports Academy, and it was really hierarchical. It was like shouting. You couldn't use the word try. It was like, just do it. And there was no room for addressing the fear of the horse for jumps, fear of the rider for jumps. And previous, I had done a certification for centered riding, and that was really focused on the rider. And we didn't talk about the horse, like, pull the reins back and he has to curve his neck, so and so, blah, blah, blah. It was all about putting the rider in balance. And I noticed when the rider is in balance, and it was the whole purpose of centered riding, the horse could become in balance, and then the horse would take on the bit naturally, and we didn't have to pull, and that was like amazing. So I learned a lot about human behaviors and how we learn, and how I like to learn. I really like to learn in discussions, and I like to practice while I'm learning, and I don't like to be shouted at when I'm learning, because that really doesn't help me if I feel anxious. Learning also is about horse behavior. The more we know about the natural behavior of our target animal, the better we can train him. Because if we don't realize that we are working with a flight animal that has predators to look out for, then we cannot understand that if a horse spooks, he spooks. He's not a human. He's not acting. If he spooks, he spooks. I truly believe that. And he's also a very reactive animal, just like we are. If we talk to somebody and somebody comes at us very aggressively, and we get annoyed too, we react to that emotion. While if we are in fear and somebody comes to us and really helps us and supports us and are being friendly, we react to that too with friendliness. So we are both very reactive. So that's how we act. So the more we know about our natural behavior and reactions, the better we can train ourselves and our horses. And then it's also about science, because that's why I call my business, it's all in mirror, HippoLogic. Hippo means horse in Greek and logic means science. So it's all based on science, the principles of learning and motivation. So that's what I would like to share with my community. Horse behavior, human behavior, what can we do to make it as easy as possible to learn new skills and to expand our experiences. So the second circle is about practice, because in order to get experience, we need to plan, we need to come into action, because that's the best recipe against procrastination. Start doing something. With training new behavior as well, even if you have no idea where to start, go to your horse, ask your horse, just start, and your horse will tell you, no, I don't understand you. Or your horse might say, yes, do you mean this or do you mean that? Because with positive reinforcement, the horse will offer behavior, and so we can take advantage of that and then morph that into what we want. Like, for instance, if you want to teach your horse crunches, then stepping backwards, it will engage their belly muscles. So if you have like that first intention of backing, then you can shape that behavior into crunches. So that's the first step. And you can only know that if you practice. So coming into action is a very important step. And then with you being in action, you get feedback from your horse, feedback from yourself. You get new ideas. You can get feedback from me in the community. And because of the planning, the action, and the feedback, you will improve, because learning is just doing, making mistakes, finding another way. That's all it is. The more mistakes you make, the better, the faster you learn. But you don't have to learn from your own mistakes. That's the beauty of us humans. We can learn from somebody else's mistakes, and we can learn and reap the benefits from somebody else's experience. And that's why I like to share experiences, and that's why I like to have the Clicker Academy, so people can learn faster. Because when I started in learning about clicker training, there was no really developed internet. There was a Yahoo email group. I didn't know the people who were in there. They talked science all the time. It was in English. English is not my first language. I felt very impressed by all the knowledge. I didn't dare to ask questions because I felt stupid all the time, which was totally unnecessary, but I didn't know that. One of the people in that group became my personal mentor and riding instructor, but I didn't know her. I didn't even know that she only lived 20 kilometers away from me. So feedback and improving. Practice, 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 very important. And now the fun part about the community. Community is super important, because what I just told you, for me, doing clicker training with the support of an email group, I knew one person. Luckily, I was so lucky, who was practicing it in she also lived nearby, so she showed me a lot of mechanics, and she told me all about the science, and that's how I got involved more and more and more. But I only had like one, and later my riding instructor, 2 people that were helping me. and the rest of the time I just was struggling on my own. So I made every mistake in the book. I started with the Spanish walk because my horse was offering, my pony was offering pawing, and I just clicked that. And so the jambette, where they lift their front foot, I had no clue how to put it on cue. I just used the cue my horse gave me. Oh, if I'm standing in front, he will offer that behavior. So that became my cue. And instead of moving on to a safer cue, I kept that cue. I was just lucky that he and I went back like 19 years back. So we really knew each other, and he didn't want to hurt me. So it was all good, but it was not very safe. Anyway, community, very important. In the community, accountability, because I studied human behavior, and all successful humans have a system for accountability, because no matter how successful people are, even Oprah or the most amazing, talented athletes, they all have in common that they have support and accountability. They have a system in place, they have an accountability partner, they have someone that pulls them out of a rut if they get stuck, because that's very, very human to get stuck. It's very, very human to feel that you cannot improve or you haven't improved. Accountability is really important, because if you can link your bigger goal or your goal that you're working on right now to your bigger goal and to your values, then and you have somebody that reflect that back on you. Oh, remember, you want to make your horse stronger, so that's why you're doing the crunches, Patricia. And it doesn't matter that it takes a long time, because you will get there. And for Ileana, after her operation, it's like a C-section, I can imagine. All the muscles were cut, so it's even harder for her than for any other horse that didn't have an operation. So keep going. Accountability, super important, and it's also nice to have somebody that reminds you of your bigger goals. Support, and also fun, because it's all about fun for your horse being trained by you. That's why I choose positive reinforcement as my go-to training method. Also, it's very important to realize the process, enjoy the process, and that you have somebody that reminds you. Just the learning process can be fun too, even if you have not accomplished your bigger goal yet. You can still enjoy the process by focusing on the little things, like, oh, my horse is really trying to understand what I want. I like that video of Whiskey walking backwards, where you are teaching him to get upstairs. That's like your bigger goal, and now he's just stepping up a wooden pallet. I love the way that Whiskey repositioned himself after he sniffed the bucket, and he was like, oh, this is what I get reinforced for. And it's the little steps that you need. It's these things that you need in order to get to that bigger goal. And it's so amazing that you see that horses learn to think with you. I also like the video of Hilde, where you are training Shakira and Lucas at the same time, because in the beginning I remember there was a real problem, because there was some jealousy going on between those two when you were around with your clicker. Now comes the fun part of a Venn diagram, because if you have the learning and the community, you get your motivation. Because if you see what other people can do and are doing, that is super motivational. I am always very motivated by Hilde, who is sharing her plans for the week. And also, if you look back into the Facebook group, She shares her shaping plans, and it's really motivational because it really helps other people to succeed too. Let's see, number 2 here. When you practice and you combine that with learning, you get the experience. And what's better than getting experience in horse training? Because that's the way you learn to know your horse best. Like training him and giving him new experiences, giving him new challenges that will teach you something about, is he focused on you? Is he focused on learning? And I noticed that all horses love to learn once they are introduced to positive reinforcement, because that there's something in it for them too, something they want. That's the appetitive. That's what you give them in order to get what you want. And then number 3, if you have a community and practice, then you also get inspiration and ideas. So I really, really like that there can be cross-pollination between all the members, like, oh, you're doing this, or I know you've done that in the past. Can you tell me a little bit more? What was your approach? You get inspiration and new ideas, and you can also you can do it their way, you can find your own way, you can do it my way, and that will create such a expanding a ripple effect of knowledge, because we all have experience, we all have ideas, we all have different horses with different experience, and we are all different. So I think it's very, very important and valuable to share your ideas with everybody else. So that's why I always like to ask everybody to get interactive, because that's the best way to learn, and teaching is the best way to learn. So if you have something that you want to share, it really helps to explain what you're doing, so it gets better organized in your own head. So the extras of learning, practice, and community is you get motivation, you get experience, and you get inspiration and new ideas. And especially the inspiration and motivation, that's something that is hard to get, and it takes way longer without a community. And then in the middle, that's the heart of the Clicker Training Academy. That's the heart of the community. That's where you'll find your friends, because everything is better with friends. Sharing and celebrating your ups, but also sharing and getting support when you're going through a difficult period. We are always, horse people, we are always concerned about the well-being of our horses. So it gives us a lot of stress if our horses is sick. I noticed that because Kira has EMS, equine metabolic syndrome. So for me, it's an ongoing struggle in my head. The right boarding facility, is she not getting overweight? Is she still getting in shape? And the balance of dying restrictive diet and exercise, because she doesn't like to exercise, and I don't really have the setup in the boarding facility now that I can give her more exercise than she's already getting. So I totally understand every one of you that's being worried about well-being of our horses. So, and that's also good to have a community and to realize that we all have the best in mind for our horses. So I would like to invite you to the masterclass on August 17th, and we will hopefully get new members in. And if you have people that you know of that could benefit of our little community, which hopefully will be growing and growing, so there will be more cross-pollination of ideas and interesting people together. There's also something else that I'm working on right now for the Clicker Training Academy, which you will be automatically a member of, because we move more from the Accountability Partner program into the Clicker Training Academy. And that's, I'm going to invite experts to give classes in the academy for no extra fee for you. So you will get all that. So if you have somebody that you would like to ask a question, a clicker trainer, then I will be happy to hear what your questions are and see what I can do to get an interview with that person for you and the community. And I would also like to invite you to tell me what you would like to see in online courses, or inspirational wise, what would you like to see in our community? So please share your ideas how we can improve and expand our knowledge and make a loving, fun community in which we can all safely learn new things. So let me know in the comments, and I will end this. It's 23 minutes right now, and I will be happy to do more of these and talk to you and do more interactive communication with you to get really that feeling of community, because that's, I think that's super, super important. Thank you for watching. Please comment, leave your comment, your ideas. Who would you like me to interview for you, and what would the question be that you would like to ask that person? And we'll see what I can do. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. Happy horse training.